committee appointment and vacancies, I wanted to check about the white stuff, so it's in, Supervisor Kinsler has it.
Yes, and we still have the one vacancy.
Yep. We still have one vacancy, so if you know anyone that you want to draft on, I've been trying, but see if we can get one more on, would be great. So attendance roll call. All right, Carolyn Horde, not here, but let us know she may not be.
Mark Simzak, present. Anna Montry,
Here.
Leslie Hagan,
Here. And Trustee Keller.
and Trustee Keller. Yep.
Which we say you two, I'm going to go up. You two have not met each other yet because Mark was gone, so this is Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, so that was a good reminder that I forgot that you were gone last meeting. So, all right. So approval of the agenda. I'm going to get approval of the agenda as submitted. Sorry, I was moving along too fast there. Motion to approve the agenda. I'll move. Second.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. So approval of the minutes. We're going to table these. So Carolyn was January. I will follow up with her. And Dwight's computer is not RIP, but RI, but not a live ticket either.
Oh no.
So when it gets back up and hopefully running soon, he will get those out. So we'll table those until next meeting. And I will follow up.
Do we need to vote on that?
Do we need to go?
No.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for checking. All right. Any disclosure of conflict of interest? None. No public, so no public comment. Old business. Start with the Bath Soccer Club concession trailer update. I don't know if you know. I was hoping Carolyn would be here, but if you know anything else about it?
Yes, so I did check with our planner just to make sure there weren't any issues with ordinances. He did say that there wasn't a specific ordinance for that, so there aren't any rules she must really follow. It's just our, however Ben wants it set up and making sure that's a good area. So I did let Carolyn know that she was good to move forward with that. And you just communicate with Ben on where he would prefer that to be.
Yeah, we did talk a little bit, and I forgot to follow up with her, but she proposed that first parking place straight toward the sheds. The north end of the parking lot.
Yep.
And it's a trailer. If it doesn't work, we can move it.
Right.
So we can try it there
and see how it
works. If it's in the way for whatever reason, we can try a different spot.
Yeah.
So I think we're fine anywhere that works.
Yeah.
We'll just try it. If it doesn't,
move it. Perfect. And nothing bother you, probably just pick up and So you weren't here, so the Bath Soccer Club has, I think they bought it from maybe the basket or baseball boosters, football. Yeah. So it's basically they want to have a shed or a nice little concession trailer there with not any cooked food, just like Gatorades, chips, that kind of stuff for when there's games out there all weekend long. So Ted was checking out the ordinances and make sure that there wasn't something that said that couldn't happen. So
were you guys able to get down there this weekend with the road construction?
Yeah. We played away this weekend.
Oh
no, but I went to pick up balls. Saturday morning I drove down there and grabbed balls before our away game. Yeah. So that's it was not a problem to get down there. There were some teams. It was early, so there weren't games going on, but there were teams that were starting to congregate around there. So I think everyone was good there. All right. DNR Trust Fund basic update. So what we said is, part of this 5-year plan, getting that in, was that that is required for the DNR Trust Fund, and I said I would look up some, not go down the path of doing anything, not craft anything, not anything like that, but just get some basics for it. So it looks like, I'll get to the notes here, it looks like due dates are April 1. So I think as we start thinking about this, April 1, 2025 would then be where we would be thinking about. It is up to, I believe, 400K. 15K to 400K is the range, and there is a 25% match requirement. There are also, I didn't look deep into it, but there's ways, there's also points awarded where which is pretty standard, but like 25% is the minimum match. If you match more, you can get more points awarded. If you contribute more cash or that, you can get more points awarded, where that would rank your proposal higher as we go through the process.
25% match in the contract.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah, 25% 5 minimum. Yeah, for that minimum, yeah. Yeah, so the way they're looking at, so award date, so April 1st is the submission date. It looks like they are trying to let people know by December. And then, sorry, December they make their recommendations. Bill's prepared. It's got to go through the legislature because of it being the Natural Resources Trust Fund. Project agreements go out in early to mid 2025. This is for the 2024, and then late projects can be started late 2025. So it seems like it's almost a year. So if it's an April 2025 due date, then it may not be until until June of 2026. Yeah, June or it's a mid to late. So
December would be the recommendation.
December would be the recommendations that they make to the final recommendations, and then the bill has to be prepared and submitted to the legislature.
So it wouldn't be awarded the following summer.
It would be awarded the following summer as well. Yeah, it says mid to late. So
Whenever they decide to do the budget.
yes, exactly. So that would be sort of so that's more just timeline for us to be thinking about. And then I think the other thing that then we need to be thinking about here is, I think that's all I had on it. I thought that was what was important. Yeah. Is as we think about what we would like to apply for, looking back at the survey that was taken as part of the 5-year rec plan, look at those 7 goals that we had, kind of say, all right, what kind of fits under those? What is the most impactful for the community? What do we see a number of people saying? And that kind of thing. And think about, is it the Up the Road, the start of the Up the Road project? Do we want to think about things before that? So that we could say put in this we talked about a trail or the paved trail around there with equipment. Do we want to say if this is until 2026, that's something we think about otherwise, and then by the year from now, when we think about applying, it's something else that's already in place. And I'm not saying that's what will happen, but that's I think where we should be thinking wise. Do we want it to be an initial where and what, and then do we want to make any improvements wherever that is outside or prior to this project, or do we want to figure out where and what, and then have this be the main one, and figure out where. There's interest in other projects around the township for DNR Trust Fund, or Natural Resource Trust Fund funding. And so I think what I said at the Park Lake meeting that the township is only putting in, it's not my decision, but I will not submit another proposal if the township is already putting in another proposal. It's going to make us look like fools, and the state's going to laugh at us like always happens if you put in 2 proposals for the same project from the same entity. It looks like you don't know what we're doing, and we don't want that to happen. So.
Nice to know the state has a sense of humor.
They do not.
But if I may ask a question,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I'm understand that DNR grants mostly go for like outdoor recreational activity, and some of the things that we've been talking about is more like athletic sport activities. I don't know if those dollars will cover that type of thing, or if they'll favor them in when they make their decision. Is that something that you're able to give up?
Yeah. So there's a whole long list of kind of what their priority areas are for funding, and something like that would, if we were to say the trail and exercise or whatever in Upton. So they funded in the past, they funded the aquatic center on Chandler Road in East Lansing, where there's the ball fields and that. There's DNR, or there's Trust Fund, and there's another one that I'm blanking on right now. It's DNR Water or something. Yeah, Water Fund. Yeah, so they both of that project got funding from both of those. So yeah, I think that as long as it's geared towards recreating, outside recreating, that it's pretty flexible. And I would assume they'll have whatever funding opportunities usually come out, whether it's an RFP or RFA. It should have the priorities listed very near the top, and and those could change year to year, but they tend to stay pretty like this where it's, continuous annual funding. So. Any questions about that stuff? All right. So I think we'll just, that'll be kind of something that stays on our agenda here as we go forward, as we start thinking through. I think it'd be good to take some chunks of time and look through that, or revisit the survey results and report our 5-year plan and just make sure that we're, I think the more we can point to that of, link what we want to do to what we did and said in that, the better off we're going to be. All right, so that sort of leads into Upton Road's continuing conversation. I'm guessing this is part of that. So at the last meeting, Taylor had said that she would ask Williams Works who worked on our 5-year plan, just for a proposal, no commitments, nothing like that, of what something like having someone help us think through what would happen at that site would be.
Yeah, so they actually asked for this back when we were starting budget talks. I don't know if you remember. I kind of came to you all and asked if you had anything that you would like to see in the budget, and we have talked about doing some sort of planning for Upton Road. So I did reach out to William Works at that time and kind of explained what that project scope would look like, so they put together a proposal based on that. So it is from August. I can't imagine it would be significantly different and maybe a little bit more expensive than what is listed here. But.
The same scope of work type thing.
Yes. That is something that would probably need to be tested because that was where the spoils from Meyer went. So there could be, chunks of concrete in there and things like that. So we don't really know. There would probably need to be an environmental study if we were to develop it.
Was that concrete facility as well for 69, or was that somewhere else?
I think they use that as a mixing site.
Okay.
Because that's why the well is there.
Okay. Which is fine, it's
And
just the same thing to think about.
I don't know if that well is viable. Sometimes they pour cold concrete.
Right, when they're done with them, yeah. So,
I think it'd be nice to know what kind of soil contaminants are there too, because then it gives us a clear direction on what path we need to go. If we need to do some sort of early remediation, plant remediation, if that's possible, to clean the soil.
and it may also be if we have something that comes back that we don't want to mess with. Usually it's, with soil contaminants, it's usually disturbance, so you usually can do things there, just not disturb it, and make them airborne, especially things like lead and those types of things. If it's there, it's fine. So it may be that then, if there's contamination, then we think about what type of things we need to do. Not even, it may be that it doesn't become something that's an active recreation area, it may become something that is a, loosely managed open space. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Without trying to go too far down that road without knowing what's in it, but. So there's a lot here in a good way. Do we want to take time to read through this, or do we want to say, or obviously I'm making any decision, but do we want to take this home, everyone to look through it, and then stick it onto our old business for next week, or next month? Sorry, not next week. Unless y'all want to come back next week. And then that would give us some time too, maybe as we're reading through it, can we email questions to you, or would you like us to gather a single, should we gather our questions so you don't get a bunch of independent questions?
You can send them all to me if you want, and then I can compile them as I get them. And then,
Okay.
once they kind of start to dwindle down, then I'll kind of send them out.
Okay, perfect. And let's work then as we all work through that and send any questions over to Taylor. Let's get all of your questions, all of our individual questions together instead of reading section A and being like, I have a question about this, and then 2 days later, I have a question about this. So.
Since there was
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's already a drawing.
Right,
So maybe they've already done an environmental study at some point.
I
right.
don't know that they have, because I think we tried to find that at one point, and that, we maybe just didn't find it, but
Yeah.
I think as far as we're
Because
aware, they haven't done that.
I found some old stuff regarding this project, but it was more so I found they were going to proceed with grant funding.
Okay,
But maybe some of this has already been done too.
right. All right, so we'll take this, and then we're gonna move this to, we'll put it at the first part of old business. Will be Williams and Works proposal for June. Cool, thank you for bringing this, I'm excited to look through this and see what they've got to say.
I hate to admit it, especially on video, but I have to see the moment. Did you say you want those comments before the meeting or at the meeting?
I think we should do that
If you
before.
can give it to me before, then I can try to get the answers prior to the
Right.
meeting.
Yeah.
So as quickly as you can read through it and give me your questions, that's perfect.
Great. Thank you for clarification. All right, just a quick bulk thing is starting in June, we're back to 6 o'clock soccer and June 1st. So thank you all for working around my schedule for these 2 months. I appreciate it. And then we'll have something similar in the fall. Or if I can, we have a really big team right now. There's a couple really big teams, so maybe in the fall that I can peel, if it's a smaller team, peel off and have someone else coach on 2 nights is also doable. But otherwise, yeah, so starting in June, we'll be back to 6 o'clock start time. So we can get home and still have 2 hours or more of daylight. All right, new business, any farmers market updates?
Yeah, so got a bunch of new vendors this year. We've got a couple Willow Farms out on Valentine Road, doing produce and maple syrup and some things there. And then we also have a new bread and egg vendor. And then, yeah, pretty much everyone else. I still have a couple to reach out to, but pretty much everyone else from previous years is also coming back. So other than but yeah, so looking good there. And then all contracts are signed and up to date and all good. Membership is current. So yeah.
Cool. Is Alicia's coming?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Is Angela?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything from Apple Vera?
Not yet. I haven't bothered reaching out yet just because they're so late. I was going
That's how it is.
Yeah. And I figured it was probably next week I'd reach out for the first time. But I think, last year I don't think it was until, let's say, end of June they started coming.
Just
so
depends on when they can get the teachers coming in to be able to do the stand. So. Cool.
But it seemed like last year they planned on coming back, so I'm assuming they will.
Awesome. Cool. And you were here last night, guys. I was super excited to hear that the crew on Valentine is coming.
Yes.
They had reached out to me like early March or late February. And we're like, do you think, what is this?
Yeah.
And I was like, I think we should do it. It's been a good market
Well,
for
it's
us
really
for 15
funny because that's
years.
where I grew up. That's
Oh,
the
really?
building that I grew up on. So
Oh, nice.
that's just really cool that it's,
So they bought your dad's house?
Yeah.
Is that what- okay, I didn't know where they
It was
were.
funny because
Awesome.
it has the application, but I looked at his produce list and everything. I didn't really pay attention to the address. And then he asked if he could sell his neighbors maple syrup, and they sent in the neighbor, and I'm like, I don't know this. Oh, yes, okay, I know exactly where that is. So
That's great. I didn't realize they were there. Awesome. Full circle. Cool. And then Park Lake Trail special meeting update. Do you want to take this? Do you want me to take this? Do you want to take this?
You can.
All right. So there's a special meeting for Park Lake Trail.
Well, so
As a neutral party. So there was a special meeting for the Park Lake Trail. I was able to be at for the first hour, and then had to go coach soccer, so I didn't see I think there were 2 more hours after that.
It was quite a
Is
long
my
time.
understanding. And I think it was in the spirit of there's some, not just Park Lake Trail, there's some other things. There was senior center and was it fire police or was that the other? There were 3 special meetings. They're kind of like things that are out there and they've been talked about. And I think it's the board's attempt to address some of these things instead of saying, here it goes again, and it moves on down. So now that got taken care of, but my feeling is that that's the attempt of the board to do. And what came out of it was, my understanding is basically that the board is going to take time to gather some more information. Is that a fair statement?
Try to communicate better what's the role of the advisory committee. And one of the issues going on that I'm seeing is the tax increase to the voters, that this township is now in a completely different place than it was a year or two ago, financially. How much, what, I'm not sure of, but we're going to bring this to the voters, it looks like. 5 mil, 4 mil, something.
It's
5 year.
4 mil.
4
5
mils
years.
over
Yeah.
time.
Increasing fire.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's, how much money's left over from Park Lake for anything, it sounds questionable.
So I would say, that I think it's, since we formed this board, I think it's also important to say, I said it at the meeting there, but, since we formed this board, this clearly was in existence long before this board came together, and, that it was, my feeling that, I think ours, if this isn't the case, or if people don't feel like this, please speak up, but that it was sort of elevated above, it was already at the board of trustees, maybe not even elevated above isn't the right term, but it was at the board of trustees level already, in the county drain commissioner level, by the time, at the moment that this board was formed. And so I think we've been in the sort of like, all right, we're here. Yes, it is potentially like a recreation opportunity, but it also is out of committee, or was out of committee when we came together.
Yes. So if I can add to that.
Definitely.
Part of it also was there seemed to be a little bit of confusion from the 2021 CIP that was submitted for the first phase of the trail. There's some confusion on if that was exactly what Park Lake Advisory Board and the previous Parks and Recreation Committee wanted to see. Dan Hayes, who was the chair of Park Lake Advisory Board, kind of said that he wasn't sure if that really matched up with what they had thought was going to take place now. So they are actually going to go back and they're going to kind of update the proposal so that it reflects what they had intended, I think.
Because the CIP funds that were approved last year and then this year
Yes.
were based on that.
We're based on the
Okay, the 2021. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was part of the confusion with communication as well.
And they're saying, the Park Lake Advisory Board is saying, or committee is saying that might not be.
They're saying it might not be
What
what they have intended and what they still want to have happen at this point. So they are going to look at that. Park Lake is meeting on Wednesday. Trustee Kellerman sits to their group as well.
Okay.
So they will be meeting on Wednesday to start to discuss that. And I believe they're planning on going back to the board sometime in June with their updated plan.
Okay.
Our Eagle got in the way.
Oh, yes, the Eagle.
The whole confusion of the parking lot, that there's the parking area that was originally planned to be the Eagle is.
Yes.
On the 2021.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't have a.
Can't have there, it can't change this, but there's another area that we can definitely park at, and my question was, it's open now, essentially, if the gate's unlocked, because it seems legal, because I asked if I would be arrested if I went there, to walk on the trail. And Chief said, no, so it's open.
Okay.
Essentially,
Yeah, so that was the other part of what I believe Superintendent Hildebrand was going to check with legal counsel, our legal counsel and road commission legal counsel to double check on the road right-of-way situation, because that does obviously become a private drive, but there's still a road right-of-way. So it was checking on if people are allowed to drive where it becomes not
one way.
maintained by the county, or if people need to stop driving where that sign is and start walking.
Or if
So-
the sign is legal. is the
Yes,
other
it's
issue.
just where the, I mean the sign where it says Clinton County no longer.
Yeah, but there's a private sign
Yes.
that's the one that I asked if I drove by that. Is the sign wrong and we need to tear it out, or am I illegal if I drive by it? And she was kind of, well, we're not going to arrest you, so.
Yeah, so that other parking area that Trustee Cullinan is referring to is past where the county stops maintaining. So that's the question of if people are able to drive back there, if they do not in fact live back there. So that is something that we are working with the two legal counsels to kind of figure out how that works. And then the Eagles, it was requested that we find someone with expertise that could come talk to the board about the Eagle situation. We did receive a contact from our legal counsel. They have their own, I think it's kind of more like environmental specialists in their firm, and they found someone that works with like wildlife
Okay.
law. So I believe we're going to try to contact them and see if they can provide more information.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at now. We did receive the final paperwork for the drain commission property, so that is finalized. The drain commissioner dropped that off in person today. So
Oh, nice.
we have it.
And so that is like, what is the drain commissioner's property?
Yeah,
For lack of a better
So
word.
now
I don't know
it's
how to
the
refer to
township
it.
property, and then he maintains easements so that he can continue maintaining the water control structure.
Okay, and that property, and that would be accessible?
Yes.
The drain commissioner is?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. So as our committee will wait, it seems like?
Yeah, hopefully we'll
Okay.
have more information
Yeah.
in the next month.
Okay, and like you said, the Park Lake Committee there, are they a committee?
They're Park Lake Advisory Board.
Board, okay. So,
It's a
so-
beautiful area to walk back through there. It's much higher ground in that area that we own. It's beautiful.
So they'll come back with a recommendation
Yes.
to see if, are they in line with their 2021, or do they have changes and
Yes.
then based on the Eagle, et cetera? Cool.
We had a great time.
We had some talk about signs, and I wasn't clear, is the signs like no trespassing?
Private property, no trespassing, and it's on a road that we have easement to. And that kind of blows me away whether that sign is not illegal. Is my question. That's why I said if it's a legal sign, then I can be arrested. If I have one on my driveway and you drive in, you can be arrested. You're trespassing. And that's,
I'm put out for the discussion, would there be value in putting up a sign that says endangered species, so that, not necessarily saying, look here, Eagle, but there is something that's environmentally sensitive to the impact?
it seems like it would be a great idea. Find out what's actually legal and put a sign up. You can't go past, draw a red line around it. It's a 60 feet, 60.
303.
There's two different ones.
Yes.
There's 330 feet, and then depending on what time of year it was, if it was breeding season, which is November to August, there's a 330-foot non-motorized buffer.
Okay.
So and then there's a 660-foot if you were going to do any construction.
Okay.
So that definitely falls within there. The 330-foot covers most of that parking lot.
Okay.
But outside of the breeding season, in those 2 or 3 months or whatever it was, there is no buffer for non-motorized. You can walk right up to it.
Okay.
But during breeding and nesting season, there was a 330-foot, and then a 660-foot. And there was some other language in there if it was visible from the nest. So there was a kind of a understanding that, like, my question was if the Eagle built next to my house, do I have to vacate? No, whatever action's going on, like that road is being used, even though the road is closer than 330 feet, it can continue to be used in the way which it was. Don't add things to it, but we have to allow trucks to get there to get to the water dam structure.
Okay.
And people have to get back to their homes.
Right, yeah, if you were doing this activity before this,
Yes.
invested in this space, you can continue to do these
And it's kind
activities.
of normal to them.
Yeah, okay.
So that makes driving to the second parking lot area no different, essentially.
Other than it's a
Private.
private driveway in a public road right of way.
Yeah,
So
so,
it's maintained by the property owners, but it is within the public road right of way. So there's some
That's
issues
part of
we have to,
the.
there's access issues that we need to clear up.
And that's legal counsel and the county road commission's legal counsel? Okay.
So that would cover rules and laws, but is there an opportunity for educational signs?
that's a
Well,
great
I
idea.
think
interested in signs saying what, education. Be cool.
And that may be something, I mean, I would think if it ends up going down that road, it would be great to see, you know, interpretive trails like signs beyond just like the eagle, right? There's really cool plants that are there. There's, you know, water features, like what do they do? Why, you know, how is Park Lake filtering water? Like, you know, yeah, it could be pretty cool. And it could also be a student project at, you know, MSU, and that's right up the alley of, you know, projects that we've worked on. You know, not the same topic, but projects like that students in classes work on. I guess I will just say it. If this project doesn't go forward, but the township owns that property, correct?
Yes.
Is there any type of, like I think about, my parents live pretty close to Costco, but to get to them, you know, there's all those properties in Meridian Township that are like, some of them have trails, some of them are natural areas with no trails, and they've got like those signs up on them that like this is a township or Meridian Township owned property. It's a nature reserve or a natural area, or I forget what the language is exactly. Like there's the brown signs all over that township. Is that something that would be, if this doesn't go forward, is that something that would be considered? And is a nature reserve like a legal thing, or are they
So
just?
I'm not sure if nature reserve would have to be like a legal type of deal. But I do believe since we will still own that and there is already, you know, kind of a path that has been created, there would still be some sort of signage that would say where you can walk if a trail isn't actually developed.
Okay.
To still avoid having people go on to the private property, which is part of the issue right now.
I suggested a fence, that we make a people fence, not just a parking area edge, but a real, it's cheap enough to put up a fence.
Well, and if you walk through the DNR property, there's those, I don't know, 4-foot tall signs.
Oh,
Basically saying you're leaving.
Right, those lake house, yeah.
Area, so they're so and you post the property line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I back up to that, there's little ones in the back of my.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there needs to be something
So that if there's a visual cue of
you need to say over here.
that of where,
Private property don't come over.
Yeah.
yeah,
And you can put up signs too.
Sure, you
Right.
can post his property.
yeah, and as long as there's something that is
Yes.
physically delineating that, not, it's 4 steps in from the edge of the road.
Yeah.
4 my steps or 4 Les's steps, or, yeah. So, okay, cool. Well, thank you, I know that is a,
Part of the little bit of research that I did on that property, when the Oversmith, just formerly known as the Oversmith property, when they deeded that, well, it was Oak Island Associates that deeded it to that. There's a legal term that it needs to remain undeveloped and open space.
okay.
So in the
There are some
legal,
constraints on it.
on what you can do with
So
it.
that was the other, there were multiple actions that came out of that. So that was the other action item that our legal counsel was going to further investigate what undeveloped meant in that sense.
Okay.
And bring back their own
Like a parking lot, is
interpretation of that.
Yeah.
I wondered about that.
So it's like even laying down chips of some sort, if that would still be considered development, or if it has to remain completely untouched.
Okay.
So.
Bring your four-wheel drive.
Any other questions currently for that?
You say June, you thought that they would.
Yes, I believe, Park Lake Advisory Board was hoping to bring their updated recommendation to the board in June. I don't think they've decided on which meeting specifically, but I believe that was their goal.
All right, moving on, updates on township parks from Ben.
So we're back in the park season now. Our fishing docks are in. They were sealed up and done some minor repairs on them this year. Swimming buoy areas, or swimming buoys should be soon to follow. We usually like to try to get those in around Memorial Day or just after. I was in the water, it wasn't that bad. So, it was a mild winter.
Yeah.
The we'll see what happens with that. We were able to plant 70 trees over at Robson Road Park. We kind of did a perimeter around the parking area and up to the woods, since there's that new home that's being built right there.
Yeah.
We put a line of trees in between there and then the other property to the south. There was a Girl Scout troop that actually helped with that project, and they planted some trees on the south side of that property. And that was great to have them. I've actually reached out, or she's reached out again to do some more planting flowers at the senior center and maybe some flower planters out front.
Nice.
And then around the community, there's 2 Girl Scout troops that are actually going to be doing some flower planting this year. So it's nice to have some community involvement and participation. Other than that, it was just, we kind of already talked about the Park Lake Trail update. So that's it. That's all I have.
All right, cool. I saw Connor Weewacken the other day. I was my first sighting of Connor. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. All right, updates on recreation, Becca?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Couple questions, please. Geese, what are we gonna do about them this year?
We're budgeted for some geese mitigation also
We-
from Goosebusters.
Yes, we contracted with Goosebusters again. They're supposed to be out in the next couple of weeks.
Treating the eggs again.
Yeah, so we kind of missed the egg season, unfortunately. So
Yeah,
they're probably going to have to do a lot of the scaring tactics and things like that this
Till
year.
they come to my house.
Well, they're out in this dirt field. right
Yeah,
now. They're
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
seeing them out the window.
I got two
going.
homes with no babies.
There's like 20 out there.
There was a family of them at the boat launch the other day.
They're buyers too.
I was just saying, better than the fire.
Yeah.
Run up mine.
I have 2 adults and they have no babies, so I don't know what the deal is.
So yeah, they are back.
And what about the invasive species? Are we?
Yep, so we continue to budget that every year. So they should be coming, I think they usually start in June. So they should be coming out here.
I got a notice.
Oh, you got one already?
Yeah, on their schedule.
Oh.
I didn't look at it very close, but
Okay.
it's coming.
Is that the treatment schedule?
Yes.
And then, okay, yeah.
And then basically says, what chemicals they're using and how long you should stay out of the water.
Yeah,
Okay.
they usually let us know a few days before they do it as well, so that
Yeah.
we get a reminder to post it on Facebook to let people know that that's happening.
Yeah. And that goes out to, am I right, in this, they also distribute that to
Yes, they send
the
it
residents
to all
on
the residents all
okay,
week.
perfect.
And then they post in the areas that they are treating as well.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? No? All right. Becca, updates on recreation?
Yeah, so baseball is up and running, got 2 Bonneville Sluggers, which will be starting next week. We got some senior programs, trying to get those, also some new ones going. I had a meeting with a couple people from the Tri-County Commission on Aging, and I'm trying to do some more like instructional kind of informational programs and classes. So there's one on scams on June 4th. And yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. And then we have farmers market, but already did that, so.
When's that starting?
The farmers market, yeah, 30. Last Thursday of May through the last Thursday of October.
Hopefully we'll be doing some repairs on that shed.
Okay.
At a minimum, it's gonna get a new door.
Okay.
They already have the door, so. What did you say baseball was starting?
It'll start the 20th.
Of May or
May
June?
or June.
Of May.
Okay, okay.
And then we'll run through the last Thursday of June, the 27th-ish, whatever that day is.
Okay.
And it's that same field out behind.
And we're doing the lining and
Yep.
maintenance, okay.
Behind the elementary school?
Yeah.
That one is back
Yeah.
on by the hill?
Yep.
Who does the officiating of those games?
It's really just kind of, it's the coaches, so we just have coaches that volunteer that are parents, and then we have rules that, like I send out to the coaches, it's probably the 2 to 3 page document that just kind of explains general rules of like, how we play, but it's really just for fun, there's not scoring, there's not really rules per se, it's more just instructional, get out there and have some fun, learn baseball.
Is that U6?
So T-ball is for 4 and 5, and then Little Sluggers is for 6 and 7.
Okay, perfect.
Is it pretty safe to say that parents are good sports?
Oh, yeah. I haven't gotten any complaints or anything yet. My niece played last year, and I was at quite a few of the games and everything. It are very good at, creating a nice positive environment for just learning and having fun and learning the game. It doesn't really seem to get very competitive at all. Except for when the little ones, they're going competitive. Well, I wouldn't say it's competitive. It was more so just chaotic because they'll hit it, and then it was just hilarious because I think the batter got tackled about 4 or 5 times. And it's not competitive. It's just learning.
I saw someone post the other day that it wasn't the math one, but it was like this kid had a hit. It was about that age. He starts running down the first baseline and he starts acting like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'd imagine it's something like that.
Yeah, because they all seem to run at the same time. Yeah.
14 states.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, I totally understand. One last thing.
It goes back to the Girl Scouts participating. I just think that you really encourage and promote, youth engagement like that. That would be really awesome. And I wonder if there's like a certificate of appreciation or something that maybe we could forward or pass along to them.
That's a good idea. We could definitely recommend it to the board too, to do maybe some sort of, what do they call it? It's like a resolution almost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a formal resolution, but it's basically like a, hey, we're doing something good for our community.
Yeah. Like the state does, the resolutions like that, yeah. Cool. It's a good suggestion, thank you. Let people know they're appreciated, right?
Push on kids.
Yeah. Okay. And the parents that help work with them, and yeah, definitely. So.
Their troop leader also said they had a bunch of other projects that they might try to do. So
Cool.
a lot of them, they said they had so much fun doing it, they want to do more. And what else is available? So if you guys have thoughts, I can share with them.
All right, I love that.
Bath one track and field.
They did, excellent,
Yeah.
love it.
They're
The
on-
girls have been killing them this
They're on
year.
their way back.
All right, yeah, they lost one only, it was like by 5 points, so they've been a great season.
I got a gold medal.
Nice. All right, anything else on recreation? We're good?
That's it.
All right, no more public comment. All right, any report?
I already kind of went through it, percolate mostly, and then the tax proposition to the voters.
And that'll be on this November ballot?
It'll be on August.
Oh, okay.
And then if that fails, then we revise it a little bit and bring it back again, and
Okay,
that's sort of the plan.
sounds good. All right, go ahead.
More property tax. Complaining.
No, they're not complaining about that, maybe complain about something else.
Yeah.
I learned anything, I learned
Yeah.
that, so. All right, any member comments?
I'd like to say that I've been getting people who've been speaking to me about the Park Lake Solstice Festival. And they're kind of at this no-go, go kind of decision. And part of what they've done in the past is they've raised money for the Park Lake Trail. So the trustees putting that decision is kind of putting the funding in, are their motivation to why they're doing the Solstice Festival at like, it's kind of scammy. So they're really trying to figure out how do they reframe this and figure out how to go forward. But there's not certainty as to like what the relationship with the Parks Department has been, because the things have changed from what they've done in the past, where there've been donations of tables and parking lots and,
Tents too, was it?
tents and tables as well. So there is a need to actually figure out what can the township do to help out for that, and so they can make their go, no-go decision. But I do think that, especially with the bathtub races, like not being here, this is one of the few festivals, like community events that we have. And I think it would be wise of us to support that event.
So what did that support look like in the past? It's been tables, tents?
Yeah, so the township in the past has, we have sponsored the event so that they're able to be a rider on our insurance so that they don't have to pay for their own insurance for that.
Yep.
And then we provide, which Ben can speak more to, tables, chairs, cones.
We have done tents, but our
Yeah.
tents have
We have,
got beat out the last few years, so those need to be actually updated.
replaced.
Replaced. But yeah, we've always provided tables and chairs. They usually have a band or something that comes down there and
So is there any?
Is there any chance to get the bathtub races going again? That was so
So that would be the responsibility of the nonprofit that owns that name and is in control of Fast Days. So the township, this committee, and many people in this community have volunteered their time, energy, effort, and money to assist, not take over by any means, not, actually have said those words, not trying to take over. We are not trying to take over, we are trying to assist and get it going. And that is for either that nonprofit to decide what they are going to do, or for some other people to say, we're going to do it.
I did hear, the last I heard, this was last fall, the Lions Club was looking into it. I don't know how far they got with it, but that was last I heard, that they were kind of the next ones.
I believe they kind of abandoned it.
That's what I was going to say, I haven't heard anything, but yeah.
It was such a great party.
Yeah, I mean, so the town, we had that conversation both as a board and then as individuals outside of this, so that it wouldn't have the perception of it being a township takeover visit. The township does not want to own that at all.
We've never had much involvement with it,
Right.
other than
And so-
having some tents there.
Yeah, so we talked about, like, would it be possible to do just the tub races and, like, beer and band tent? Something, a one day, even something to happen in there, and like, but that is, that is
Police and fire competition.
I know, it was great. We did it at Farmers Market.
So much fun. And
Did we push you? No. It was maybe Tom was doing it. I was thinking, yeah, Tom and I pushed. I forget that we drafted someone in there with a vendor, a part-time vendor. Yeah, it was great.
Great PR for
It's-
the town.
yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, the Precision, they're not there anymore, but the Precision manufacturing place made like this wild, super cutout, like you rode in it like this, going forward, tub race. It was like, yeah, it was tons of, yeah, I think that so many people in this community would love to see at least something. Maybe it's not all of the rides, maybe it grows to that again, but some type of, the tub races for sure, and a band and some
That'd be
some
great.
beer and food trucks. I agree, it'd be awesome. So, yeah, I've had personal conversations with the executive director of that and offered assistance and help, and so that's where it is. So I guess I will put it back on the table. I don't think it's May. I don't think it will happen this year, but if this committee is interested in starting that conversation down the road for next summer, that I think we just would need to make sure, again, the township does not want to own it, but that,
It was great PR for the police and fire too, everything.
yeah, it was tons of fun.
Shower with it.
People came out and cheered, and, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's a perfect spot for it. It's something to happen on Main Street. It's, so I'm more than happy either, as part of this committee and or as a, resident that lives here to figure out how to do that, because we loved it the first 5 or 6 years that we lived here.
Finish up on Solstice.
Yes.
So they can expect the insurance, and then the other thing was.
So there, which was told to Judy Garvey, she has to bring that to the board. That has to be voted on by the board of trustees. The board has never voted no, but it still has to be voted on yearly.
The process.
Yes.
And lastly, so would you have like an idea of like parking to fit the capacity of people who might show up? Because years past, they really had a lot of cars there.
Yeah, and I know part of the issue was a couple of years ago, we just spent a bunch of money hydro seeding that lot that was where we tore the house down. We put a bunch of topsoil and hydro seeded that, so I think that grass is probably established now that we can probably do something out there. But that was the issue that year, is like, it was super dry. So
Yeah.
we're trying not to kill the $5,000 we put in hydro seeding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we can come up with some parking strategies.
And some tables and some,
Yeah, and we also own the lots across the road now too,
right?
from north of the boat launch. Closer to the township. Closer to the beach.
I'm looking at the party stores and left it. So,
And it's terrible.
does that make sense for you to be able to go back and take that? That's enough information to be able to take to Judy and
Get the ball rolling.
get the ball rolling? Perfect. Cool. All right. So, and a motion to in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thanks, everyone.
Under an hour.
Yeah.